Amaka, you thought you succeeded, right? Amaka, it's not what you think. Would you keep your dirty mouth shut? I thought you were the sister I never had. Please explain what? Your betrayal?
In the quiet town of Obinze, life moved at a gentle pace. It was the kind of place where every face was familiar and every family knew the next. The roads were long and dusty, lined with mud houses and small shops where women sold roasted corn, ground nuts, and fresh fruits by the roadside. Every morning, the golden sun rose slowly over the town, casting warm light across the narrow paths that connected every home. The air carried the scent of dew, earth, and distant wood smoke from breakfast fires. Children's laughter often echoed through the streets before school hours. And among all the children in the town, two girls were known everywhere they went: Zara and Amaka. People rarely mentioned one name without the other. From the time they were little girls, they had been inseparable. They learned how to walk side by side, their tiny hands always reaching for each other. As children, they ran barefoot through the dusty street, chasing butterflies, playing 10 to 10, and laughing until their stomachs hurt. Whenever one of them fell while running, the other was always there first, brushing dust off scraped knees and helping her back up. They fetched water together every morning from the village stream, balancing small buckets on their heads while talking endlessly about school, family, and the future. Sometimes they stopped by the riverbank just to watch their reflections dance in the water as they giggled over silly jokes no one else would understand. To everyone in the town, their friendship was something special. It was pure, natural, unbreakable. Every school morning, they walked the same dusty road together, their books pressed tightly to their chests, school sandals kicking up soft clouds of brown earth behind them. They shared one umbrella during the rainy season. They shared one bottle of water when the afternoon heat became too much. If Zara forgot her pen, Amaka already had an extra one waiting. If Amaka forgot her lunch, Zara would split hers in half without hesitation. No one ever saw one without the other. After school, while most children hurried home, Zara and Amaka always made their way to the old mango tree, standing at the edge of the school field. That tree had become their world. Its wide branches stretched like protective arms above them. Its shade gave them comfort from the harsh afternoon sun. Its roots held years of whispered secrets and childhood promises. Beneath that tree, they studied side by side every single day. Books spread open across their laps, pens moving, pages turning, dreams growing. Sometimes, when Zara struggled with mathematics, Amaka would patiently explain every step, drawing numbers carefully in the sand with a stick until it finally made sense. And when Amaka became tired, Zara would make her laugh with funny stories about the people in town. Their friendship was built on little acts of love, little acts of loyalty, little acts of trust, the kind of bond many people spend their whole lives searching for. The women in the village often smiled whenever they saw them together. They are not just friends, they would say. They are sisters born from different mothers. And for many years, that was exactly what they were. As the years passed, the two girls became known throughout their school for their brilliance. Whenever examinations were marked, their names were always at the top of the class list. Teachers often used them as examples for the other students. If you want to succeed, they would say, learn from Zara and Amaka. But even among the two of them, everyone quietly knew that Amaka possessed something extraordinary. Her intelligence was not just impressive, it was remarkable. In class, before the teacher could even finish asking a question, Amaka's hand was already in the air. Sometimes she answered before anyone else had even understood the question. Her mind moved quickly, sharp, precise, confident. Mathematics came to her like second nature. Literature essays flowed from her pen with elegance far beyond her age. The teachers admired her deeply. Even the strict mathematics teacher, who rarely praised anyone, often nodded with approval whenever Amaka solved the most difficult equations on the board. Many times, the headmaster would step into the classroom unexpectedly and ask a complicated question just to test the students. And almost every single time, it was Amaka who stood up, her voice calm, her posture steady, her answer flawless. The classroom would erupt in admiration. Some students clapped, others simply stared at her in awe. Soon, her reputation spread beyond the school walls. Neighbors pointed her out with pride whenever she passed by. "That girl will go far," they would say. She was born for greatness. Some said she would become a doctor. Others imagined her as a lawyer standing confidently in a courtroom. And each time those words were spoken, Zara stood beside her, smiling, clapping, cheering louder than everyone else. On the outside, she looked proud of her best friend, and part of her truly was because she loved Amaka. She had watched her work hard. She had studied beside her under the mango tree. But slowly, beneath that pride, another feeling began to take root. A feeling Zara did not recognize at first. It was small, almost invisible, like a tiny crack in glass. It started with little moments no one else noticed. When teachers said, "Why can't the rest of you be more like Amaka?" When parents in the village smiled at Amaka, but barely noticed Zara standing beside her. When people spoke about Amaka's future as if Zara had none, each word settled quietly inside Zara's heart. At first, she ignored it, but comparison has a way of growing in silence. A quiet voice began to whisper in her mind, "Why is it always Amaka? Why does everyone see only her? Am I not trying too? Am I not good enough?" That voice returned again and again. Each praise Amaka received made it louder. Each applause felt sharper. What once sounded like admiration slowly began to feel like rejection. Without realizing it, Zara had started measuring her worth against her friend's success. And comparison, when left unchecked, can turn even love into resentment. Day by day, the voice inside her grew stronger. What began as a whisper was slowly becoming jealousy. And jealousy, once planted in the heart, rarely stays small. Then came the day that changed everything. It was a hot afternoon, the kind where the classroom air felt heavy and still. Suddenly, the classroom door opened. The principal stepped in. In his hand was a sealed official envelope. Immediately, the room fell silent. Even the whispers stopped. Something about the way he held the envelope made everyone sit up. His face carried unusual excitement. He stood at the front of the class and slowly adjusted his glasses. Then he spoke. "I have important news." Every eye in the room fixed on him. A prestigious university in the city has offered this school a fully funded scholarship. For a moment, there was complete silence. Then the classroom exploded. Gasps filled the room. Excited murmurs. Students turned to one another in disbelief. A scholarship like that was beyond rare. For children from their small town, it was more than education. It was an escape, an opportunity, a doorway out of struggle. It meant tuition fully paid, accommodation covered, books provided, a chance to build a life their parents could only dream of. For many families in the village, this kind of opportunity could change not just one life, but an entire generation. The principal raised his hand for silence. "There is only one slot." The room became still again. One student will be chosen through a special examination. The examination will be supervised by an external examiner from the city. At that moment, Zara felt something tighten inside her. Her fingers slowly curled around the edge of her desk. She didn't need to look around the room. She already knew what everyone was thinking. Amaka. Of course it would be Amaka. Who else? The teachers believed in her. The students admired her. The village had already chosen her in their minds. To everyone else, the scholarship already belonged to Amaka. That thought followed Zara home. That night, she lay awake on her small bed, staring into the darkness above her. The room was quiet, but inside her mind, there was chaos. She imagined the future. Amaka leaving the village, Amaka entering the city, Amaka becoming successful, Amaka becoming everything Zara had once dreamed of becoming herself. The thought burned. For the first time, Zara did not see her best friend as a companion. She saw her as competition, as an obstacle standing between her and the life she wanted. Fear slowly began to consume her. Fear of being left behind. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of always being second. And fear, when mixed with jealousy, can become something dangerous. By morning, that jealousy had begun to turn into desperation. As the examination day drew closer, the atmosphere in the school began to change. The usual laughter in the classroom was replaced by tension. Books stayed open long after classes ended. Everyone knew what was at stake. This was not just an ordinary test. It was a chance to escape the life many of them had always known. For some, it was the only road out of poverty. Amaka, however, remained calm, focused, determined, and through it all, she still called for Zara. "Come, let's revise together," she would say warmly. She still shared her notes, still explained difficult topics, still trusted Zara completely. That trust cut deeper than any insult ever could. Each act of kindness from Amaka only made the storm inside Zara worse. Instead of pulling her back, it pushed her further into darkness. One evening, while passing the staff room, Zara overheard two teachers talking in low voices. "The external examiner has arrived," one of them said. "He's staying at the guest lodge near the Old Market Road." Zara froze. The words lingered in her mind long after she walked away. That night, sleep refused to come. She lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling. Quietly, she rose from her bed. Her hands shook as she opened the small wooden box where her mother kept emergency savings. Money carefully folded. Money meant for food, for school fees, for household needs. For a moment, Zara hesitated. Her fingers hovered over the note. Her conscience screamed at her to stop, but desperation is powerful. Slowly, she took the money, wrapped it in a small cloth, and slipped it into her bag. The village was silent as she stepped outside. Only the distant sound of crickets filled the night. She walked alone through the dark street. The moonlight cast long shadows across the dusty road. Her heart pounded so hard it almost drowned out the silence around her. At the edge of town stood the guest lodge. Zara stood outside the examiner's door for several seconds. Her hand trembled before she finally knocked. A moment later, the door opened. The examiner stood there, surprised. His eyes narrowed slightly. "Yes?" Zara's throat tightened. For a second, words failed her. Then, with a shaky voice, she said, "Sir, I need your help." He looked at her carefully. She stepped inside. The room felt cold. Slowly, Zara removed the folded cloth from her bag and placed it on the table. The money inside spilled slightly into view. The examiner's eyes dropped to it, then lifted back to her face. A long silence filled the room. For a moment, Zara hoped he would refuse, hoped he would tell her to leave, hoped someone would stop her from crossing the line. But he said nothing. He simply stared at the money. Then, after what felt like forever, his hand moved. He picked it up. That single movement shattered something inside Zara. In that moment, the act became real. This was no longer fear, it was corruption, a choice, a betrayal not only of Amaka, but of herself. At last, the day of the results arrived. Students arrived at school earlier than usual. Even the dusty school compound, usually filled with casual laughter, now felt tense. Everyone knew that by the end of the morning, one life would change forever. The assembly hall was packed. Students filled every bench, their uniforms neatly pressed, eyes fixed on the stage. Teachers stood lined along the walls, their faces serious but expectant. At the front of the hall stood the principal. In his hand was the sealed envelope, the same envelope that carried someone's future. The room fell into complete silence. Zara sat stiffly in her seat. Her fingers were locked together so tightly her knuckles had turned pale. Her heartbeat thundered in her chest. Beside her, Amaka sat calmly. That calmness only made Zara's guilt heavier. Then slowly opened the envelope. The faint sound of paper tearing echoed through the silent hall. For a moment, it felt as though time itself had stopped. Every eye was on him. Every breath was held. Then he lifted the paper and began to read. And the winner of the fully funded university scholarship is... He paused. The silence stretched painfully. Zara felt her stomach twist. Her pulse raced. Then the name came, Zara. For 1 second, the room remained still. Then the hall exploded. Thunderous applause, cheers. Excited voices filled the air. Some students jumped to their feet. Teachers smiled and nodded. Outside the windows, parents began shouting in celebration. Zara's mother covered her mouth with both hands as tears streamed down her face. Her father lifted both hands toward the sky. "Thank you, God," he whispered, his voice breaking with emotion. The villagers outside began congratulating her family. To everyone watching, it looked like a moment of triumph, a dream fulfilled, a future secured. The applause that should have lifted her only pushed her deeper into guilt. Then she felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned. It was Amaka. Her eyes were warm, her smile genuine. Without hesitation, Amaka pulled her into a tight embrace. "I'm so proud of you, Zara," she said softly. Those words pierced deeper than any punishment ever could, because there was no suspicion in Amaka's voice, no bitterness, no doubt, only love, only trust, only the sincere pride of a best friend who believed Zara had truly earned it. That moment shattered something inside her, because Amaka still trusted her, still loved her, still believed in her. And for the first time since the betrayal, Zara understood the full weight of what she had done. She had not only stolen an opportunity, she had betrayed the one person who had never stopped standing beside her. Days later, Zara left Obinze for the city. Her mother held her tightly before she boarded the bus. Her father's eyes shone with pride. Even the women who sold roasted corn by the roadside waved and blessed her journey. But inside her, nothing felt victorious. As the bus pulled away from the village, Zara sat by the window and watched the familiar dusty roads disappear behind her. The scholarship letter rested in her bag, but it did not bring peace. Each time she touched it, it felt heavier than paper. It felt like guilt folded into an envelope. The city was everything she had imagined. Tall buildings stretching into the sky, crowded streets alive with movement, cars honking, people rushing. This was supposed to be the beginning of happiness, the reward she had risked everything for. Yet from the moment she arrived, Zara felt an invisible pain she could not explain. It was not something anyone could see, but it was there, in the quiet moments, in the silence before sleep. She had gotten the scholarship, but somehow she still felt like she had lost something far greater: peace. On her first morning at the university, Zara walked across the large campus courtyard. Students moved around her in groups. Some hurried to lectures. Others sat beneath trees reading. For a brief moment, she tried to convince herself that maybe the past was behind her. Maybe the city would help her forget. Then she stopped. Her entire body froze. Standing near the library steps was Amaka. Zara's breath caught in her throat. Her heart slammed against her chest. For a second, the world around her seemed to disappear. The noise of students faded. The movement around her blurred. All she could see was Amaka, standing there, alive, inside the very future Zara thought she had stolen, wearing the same calm expression, the same grace, the same quiet confidence. It felt almost unreal. Zara stared at her in disbelief. Her voice came out barely above a whisper. "Amaka?" Amaka turned slowly. Their eyes met. Then she smiled, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with a calmness that somehow hurt even more. "Zara," she said softly. Shock washed over Zara's face. Her mind raced. How are you here?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I thought the scholarship was only for one person." Amaka looked at her for a long moment before answering. Her voice was steady, the examiner confessed. Those words hit Zara like a physical blow. Amaka continued, each word landing slowly and painfully. "He admitted that you offered him money." Zara's throat tightened. Her chest felt heavy. Amaka's eyes remained calm. "He returned the money and reported everything to the scholarship board." Zara could barely breathe. The board was disappointed, but instead of cancelling everything immediately, they decided to investigate our academic records. Zara stood frozen. Every part of her body felt numb. Then Amaka spoke the words that shattered her completely. "They discovered that I had consistently been the highest performing student in the district." Her voice remained gentle. "So they awarded me a separate merit scholarship. Silence." Amaka looked directly at her. "And they allowed you to remain here too." Zara slowly lifted her eyes. Amaka's next words landed like judgment, not as a reward, a pause, but as a lesson. Those words echoed inside Zara. A lesson. For the first time, she truly understood. The scholarship had brought her to the city, but guilt had arrived before her. At that moment, Zara realized something devastating. Sometimes the punishment for betrayal is not losing everything. Sometimes it is getting exactly what you wanted and still being unable to feel whole. That night, Zara returned to her hostel room in silence. A silence so heavy it felt alive. She slowly closed the door behind her and leaned against it for a moment, unable to move, her suitcase still half open from the journey. The scholarship letter rested on the table, the same letter that was supposed to symbolize victory. But now, as Zara stared at it, it no longer looked like success. It looked like evidence, a reminder. She walked slowly to the bed and sat down. For the first time since arriving in the city, the strength she had been pretending to hold on to finally began to slip away. Zara lowered her face into her hands. Tears welled up in her eyes. Then finally, they fell. Because she had finally seen what she had almost destroyed. Not just an opportunity, not just an examination, but something far more precious. A true friendship, a pure bond. A sister, not by blood, but by years of trust and love. The realization broke her. She had allowed jealousy to blind her. Amaka had shown her kindness. That was the part that hurt the most. Amaka had not humiliated her, had not exposed her before everyone, had not spoken with bitterness. Instead, with mercy. that mercy became heavier than punishment. Because punishment can end, but kindness in the face of betrayal forces a person to confront themselves. There was no anger to fight against, no hatred to defend herself from, only love, only the painful reflection of the person she had become. Zara looked out through the hostel window. The city lights glowed in the darkness. Cars moved below like streams of light. The future she had once dreamed of was now right in front of her, yet she had never felt more empty. For the first time, she understood that success without peace is its own form of suffering. A victory built on betrayal does not feel like triumph. It feels like a wound that refuses to heal. And in that lonely room, with tears still running down her face, Zara finally confronted the hardest truth of all. The person she had betrayed most deeply was not only Amaka, it was herself.